Not an official schedule, not a guest appearance, Jungkook spotted at CxM17's concert today. His outfit quietly sends ARMY into a frenzy. No one was supposed to know. There was no announcement released in advance. No schedule leaked online. No hint dropped by staff, media, or insiders. Nothing pointed to this moment. And yet, on this ordinary concert night, something extraordinary happened. The CxM17 concert began just like any other. Lights flooded the stage. Music thundered through the venue. Fans screamed, sang along, and lost themselves in the rhythm. Everything followed the script. Until it didn't. Because somewhere away from the spotlight. Not on stage, not behind the scenes. A presence quietly disrupted reality. Not with noise. Not with intention. But simply by being there. The first glimpse. It started with a single clip. Shaky. Grainy. Barely a few seconds long. Filmed from far away, by someone who wasn't even trying to capture anything special. Yet something in that frame felt off. A familiar silhouette. A posture too recognizable. A calm that didn't match the surrounding chaos. Someone commented softly. Is it just me, or does that look like Jungkook? No bold claims. No dramatic captions. Just uncertainty. But uncertainty, when shared online, spreads faster than certainty ever could. From doubt to realization. Another video surfaced. Then another. Different angles. Different moments. Each one small. Each one incomplete. But together. They began to form a picture. The realization didn't explode. It sank in. Slowly. Heavily. Jungkook was really there. Not as a performer. Not as a guest. Not as a surprise act waiting backstage. But as someone standing among the crowd. Watching. Why this felt so unreal? Because this wasn't how things usually work. Jungkook is someone who moves with schedules. With security. With distance. He exists on stages, screens, billboards. Yet here he was. Blended into the audience, dressed simply, unmoving, unguarded by spectacle. He wasn't positioned to be seen. And yet, once seen, he couldn't be unseen. Not an idol, not a symbol, just a person. He didn't wave. He didn't smile for cameras. He didn't acknowledge the attention growing around him. He didn't even seem aware of it. He stood with relaxed shoulders. Hands naturally at his sides. Eyes fixed on the stage, fully engaged in the performance unfolding before him. This wasn't an idol attending an event. This was a musician. Watching another musician. And that distinction changed everything. The outfit that spoke without speaking. The more people looked, the more details emerged. A jacket, simple, unpretentious. No shine. No dramatic silhouette. A plain t-shirt underneath. Soft tones. Nothing loud. Pants chosen for comfort, not cameras. Shoes meant for standing, not posing. There was no visible effort to impress. And yet, the lack of effort became the statement. Because this wasn't fashion for branding. This was fashion for existing. And that honesty struck a nerve. ARMY didn't shout, they watched. Something unusual happened next. People recognized him. But they didn't rush. They didn't scream his name. They didn't turn the moment into chaos. Instead, there was restraint. A collective, unspoken agreement. Let him be. Phones stayed low. Voices stayed controlled. As if everyone instinctively understood. This moment mattered precisely because it wasn't interrupted. A rare role reversal. For once, Jungkook wasn't being observed from afar. He wasn't framed by stage lights. He wasn't separated by screens. He was there in real space. And the tension came from that reversal. Because the world is used to watching Jungkook. But now, the world was watching him. while he watched someone else. Social media moves in silence. Online, the reaction grew, but quietly. No screaming headlines. No sensational wording. Just fragments. Screenshots. Zoomed-in stills. Outfit comparisons. Not for drama. Not for clout. But to make sense of what people were seeing. And as the reality settled in, ARMY didn't feel excited. They felt protective. Why this moment felt personal? Because it wasn't meant to be shared. There was no camera crew. No official footage. No approval process. This was a private moment that briefly touched the public eye. And that made it fragile. ARMY didn't see an idol on duty. They saw a person choosing to step outside the role. Even if only for one night. Quiet hype at its purest. There was no climax. No announcement afterward. No confirmation statement. The night ended like any other concert night. Jungkook left quietly. Without a trace. Except for the feeling he left behind. A feeling that lingered longer than cheers ever could. When silence becomes the loudest moment. That night, Jungkook didn't take center stage. He didn't command attention. And yet, attention followed him anyway. Because sometimes, the most powerful moments are the ones that happen without intention. Moments where a global star becomes invisible. And in that invisibility, feels more human than ever. Final reflection. This wasn't about fashion. It wasn't about rumors. It wasn't about headlines. It was about presence. About what it means when someone who carries the weight of the world chooses, even if only for a moment, to gently set it down. Not because the burden disappears. Not because the responsibility fades. But because even the strongest souls need a breath. A pause. A reminder that they are human before they are symbols. And maybe that's why this moment stayed with ARMY. Because it wasn't loud. It wasn't staged. It wasn't meant to be remembered. And yet, it was unforgettable. It reminded everyone of something simple but rare. That behind the titles, behind the expectations, behind the endless lights and endless applause, there is still a person who feels, listens, and longs for quiet. That even the brightest stars, the ones we look up to from afar, sometimes don't want to shine. Sometimes, they just want to stand in the crowd. Not to be seen. Not to be praised. But to listen.